tickets for December 1st in a few weeks. And you want to go to Walt Disney Concert Hall to see Leslie Odom Jr. in his Christmas for his Christmas night, holiday night. Go ahead and call Andy 1-800-920-1580.
What up?
Photo, some lucky winner, and you will
What
get
up,
a pair
Attila?
of tickets for December 1st. So go ahead and call if you want.
I'm in here early. Why not?
Wow, you guys have really been writing a lot. I got away from the chat, or from the. Whoa. Okay, so right now it looks like 38% of you are ambivalent about everything that's going to happen, but surprisingly, it's tied for hopeless and hopeful. Surprisingly, you guys are tied for that. Some of you feel
Well,
hopeless.
well,
That's been
well.
sort of this
Ayo.
over underlying feeling on Instagram and on other social media platforms. Chris,
How's everybody
you have seen
doing?
as well. You have kept up with it.
Is everybody
there
on
are
it?
some people who are feeling hopeful, and like I mentioned earlier,
Hello,
hopeful doesn't
hello,
necessarily mean that
X444.
you voted for Donald Trump, and maybe you did. Maybe some people who are listening right now did vote for Donald Trump. Someone said earlier in the chat, they said ecstatic is not an option. They
Vato.
feel ecstatic. Okay, great. Let me know, how
Thank
are
you
you
so
feeling
much.
currently? As Andy mentioned, this is a different time. It's a time where we are seeing, we know what we're dealing with. Sometimes they say the enemy you can see versus the one that you can't is the best one, because you know what you're up against. And
It's going to be an interesting
so we know
show.
what that is, and we also know that we have the power. We have seen black women and we've seen black men really show out in this election. And
What up,
so we know how to galvanize. We've seen, all other
Inzinga?
races as well. This is not to keep them out of it, but we've seen people
Zing,
know
what
how to get
up?
together and for a greater
This
cause,
your
for something
topic,
better.
Zing.
How are you feeling right now, Chris? Are you feeling hopeful? Are you a little ambivalent? How are you feeling about it all?
Honestly, I'm feeling the same way I felt this morning. Not surprised by anything. It sucks that, we as people, particularly the black women, still have to continue to get overlooked. And as much as, because when he first got elected, the first goal, I was a junior in college and all that good stuff. And I was doing my best to remain optimistic. I really was. I was
This
doing my
is your
best to remain
topic.
hopeful. And
Closure?
then it hit me. We're black in America. It doesn't matter how
Is
hopeful you try to
closure an
be to
inside
be
job?
who
This is your
are.
topic.
Usually, 100% of the time, it doesn't work out the best for us. And that's where I'm at with it. It's going to be
Diddy
something
didn't
to
come in
see what
here.
happens next,
Huh.
especially in 2025
Yeah,
when this
this
man has already
yours.
stated what he wants to do. And at this point, nothing will surprise me. It's
I
kind of
get
like
that.
I was watching.
I get that you're not surprised, but I'm talking more so, the feelings behind it. That's a little bit different for me, because for me as a black woman and somebody who, I won't say that I was completely vocal about it, but I didn't hold back either.
So what you
I
guys are listening
posted,
to is
about
Robin
Kamala Harris.
Ayres,
I posted,
the Rob
things about this
Report
election, of course.
with Robin Ayres.
But me feeling
That's
a
who you
little bit
guys listening to.
hopeless, even as an optimist,
And of course, her show is
I am
right
an
before
optimist, and
mine.
so I tend
Yes,
to,
you
Good
are.
evening,
I tend
y'all.
to look at
Please hit
things
the
to
like button on your
silver
way
linings, and
in.
I will
Thank
find
you.
a silver lining even in this election. Because similarly to how Fahim
This gonna
said,
be an interesting topic.
I feel like I'm more
What
concerned
I've
for other
done
people. I don't know, and
with
this is not just talking financially or anything like that.
what
I don't know. I have a
Inzinga
different side of
gave
disposition.
me.
Although I know that all of his policies, everything that he's going to enforce,
I got
is going
some
to affect
things.
all of us. So I'm very clear about that. But I'm just
I
talking about
got
me,
some
a woman, a black
things.
woman too. In seeing the strides that were made, I feel a little bit hopeless, even as an optimist. So I'm asking you about your feelings. Are you still
This
like?
gonna be
Because I
good.
wouldn't call you necessarily an optimist, but are you feeling a
I
little
wouldn't
bit
call
like,
you an optimist as a diss. Let me see, where's this?
in this situation? How are you feeling about it? That's the question. Not necessarily if you're surprised about it. I get that. I don't think any of
That
us are
Gemini
surprised.
twist be
I don't
for
think so.
real. You know, I
Yeah.
got to.
I can 100%
I got
agree.
to
I'm not hopeful. I'm not hopeful
do
about
what
this
I'm
at
gonna do
all.
with it.
Just
You know what
because
I
we've
mean?
seen this movie before, it's kind of like
Listen, man, y'all should know by
trusting
now.
somebody who you know is not a good individual.
I'm a
You're trying
regular
to trust
dude.
who you know is not good. You're try to see the good in them.
with a show
They've shown you too many times their hand.
that I'm passionate about.
So I am not hopeful.
And
I'm not even hopeless. At this point,
I'm just passionate about having
Okay.
real
And-
conversations that lead to growth.
Respect your disposition.
I believe that
that can be
I'm a different man than I was 5 years ago.
And correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe I'm a different man than I was
on our government
8
on
months
whatever
ago.
level that may be. And where I'm at right now, I'm on my
A boar bristle.
for us, by us. It's probably going to be harder, right?
Yeah,
But I'm willing
okay.
to take that path because I think that's going to give us the freedom, that's going to give us the power that we've been fighting for so long. We're dependent on somebody else, another group of folks to provide us with that power. And I think we need to stop that. Stop that mentality. Let's get, like I said, let's get.
I don't even know where Andy is.
Let's gatekeep if need be.
Basically, your face scruffy is comedy.
Even in the midst of chaos.
One more chance.
I would love to see that happen.
No, Robin. Listen, Robin is at the crib. I'm finna start doing this from the crib. Think I won't?
But what I will say is it's going to be hard for me to believe that we can really come together, especially, don't get me wrong, we've done instances in the past.
Robin is at the crib. I think I'm gonna start doing my from the crib. You think I wouldn't? You think I wouldn't do this from home?
I just feel like this is another time where, yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
Be right on that couch.
I really hope not. I really hope not.
If I did this at the crib, it would be less professional. I promise you. I'd be laying down on the couch. Like, I couldn't be like.
Thomas Outlaw says one of the absolutely draining
Yeah, I don't
things
want to
about
bring too
yesterday's
much.
results is my wife voicing fear for what's next and my inability to soothe her pain.
Man, that's painful.
That hits right there.
No, I'm not blaming the fam for
I was in
nothing.
a conversation with somebody earlier today, and I just felt their pain, and it's like,
Hey, listen, everybody that's in here,
to really stop that.
Zoe is the most best, wonderful, great. Who is okay? How you doing, Raising Knowledge? Everybody, please hit the like button when you come in. I'm a little early today. Everybody, please hit the like button when you come in. The like is free. This is a radio show you guys are tapping into. This is the behind the scenes. All right? This is the behind the scenes of my radio show. All right? The radio show is on 1580 KBLA. KBLA is a radio station here in Los Angeles, California, owned by Tavis Smiley. One of only 2 black-owned stations here in the city of Los Angeles.
When we come forward, I'm still reading these comments.
All right.
I'm still looking at your
The
votes.
show you
I'm
hear in the
surprised by
background
this.
is the
We'll
show
talk about
that
it more on the other
precedes
side.
my
You're
own.
listening to KBLA, Talk 1580.
If you're just coming in, don't forget to hit the like button and please share the video. Now, I want people to jump in and call in. But just understand this. No profanity. No profanity.
With your library card, you can access the
All right.
latest music and movies,
No profanity.
audiobooks and ebooks,
Hit the like
graphic
button.
novels,
Everybody should hit the like button. There's 40 people in here. Hit the like button. Let's get it. But you're right. A lot of the people might be considered. What's the word Attila just used?
/e-media.
An official message from Medicare. A couple more minutes, and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current
Yep.
health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So it's
I'm gonna
saving
get
money.
me.
Review
I'm
all
gonna
your
get
options
him.
at
See you
Medicare.gov.
later.
Open enrollment
Because he
ends
was all
December 7th.
elbows.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health.
Oh
and Human
yeah,
Services.
I get it.
Whether you're going over the river and through the woods in the capable Silverado 1500,
getting the choir to church on time in the 3-row Traverse. Thank you. Or driving cross town to deliver your famous Cajun spiced holiday turkey in the Equinox EV, America's most affordable EV with a 350 plus mile range. Add confidence to every holiday adventure and get it done with a rugged and capable
Boy,
Chevy
didn't
truck or
Christmas just
SUV.
roll
Find
around
your
here
rate
super
Get 0%
fast, hella
APR financing
fast?
for 36 months on select popular Chevy
Christmas
models
just
through
showed
finance
up
with GM Financial.
hella
Chevrolet.
fast.
Together, let's drive.
Offer available on all 2025 Equinox and
They
2026
got us
Silverado,
programmed. Soon as Halloween is over, Christmas, they skip right past. They might as well just merge Christmas or Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's together. They should just merge all three of those holidays together for sure.
With our 2024 Climate Justice Campaign for KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News and Tribune. To you, the African-American communities of Los Angeles, well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know.
Christmas is definitely in the fast lane, gangster teacher. Now listen, if you guys want to jump in, LS, I hope you're doing well. I hope we got good news. LS Jefferson, what up? What up? Bonjour, monsieur. Monsieur.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news.
Yeah, people realize that Thanksgiving was a massacre, right? 4 minutes before showtime.
Now, people talked about this beforehand.
Everybody hit that like button,
before
hit the
the
share
election.
button.
There was a ton
Like it,
of
share it,
talk
share it, share it.
around leaving
Gavin
the
Russell,
US.
what up?
Would you leave? A lot of people are asking and talking and seeing if that's a viable option for them. Would you leave?
There we go. LS. LS Jefferson.
People have discussed leaving the U.S. with these results. Would you?
Hey, Andy, is this a pre-record?
I'm letting you guys
Okay, because I heard you talking. I said,
it's looking like it's a no.
where's Andy? They got a secret room somewhere?
They say if they had the means, there are other people with wealthy people who are considering.
Did I get him? Got him.
Have made major steps.
Oh yeah.
To some reports. If you guys are following me on Instagram,
I was like, where the hell is Andy?
Right now, there are.
I hear him talking.
Articles on.
Hey man, I'm sorry.
There are articles about wealthy people leaving the U.S.
I don't want to say nothing bad.
Would you leave? Would you leave, or is it just simply not that serious? And would you stay here? And
you know how I complain about a certain contributor.
I got 4 more years in me. Maybe we could get.
I heard some more shit, and I ran in here to talk to you, but you wasn't in here. I said, well, where Andy at?
Not at all. I am not.
Yeah, I was just like, oh man, I can't hear no more of this shit.
Other foolishness across the world, okay?
Boy, if you don't read a damn book,
I would much rather get caught up in my home. So no,
just read.
I am not leaving. Plain and simple.
Andy, would you leave? I know Zoe Williams says he's staying right here. Yeah, this is.
Oh, I remember this. This was last week.
Always green on the other side. So
Free.
So you stay with the place that you know.
Andy with the wisdom. Hey, what's the hotline to call in? 1-800-920-1580.
Yeah, that's the question. More so.
Truemonger in the building.
You would.
but I wouldn't be quick.
Blessings to the sister LS Jefferson. Blessings, blessings, blessings.
Well, I mean, I think it's
1-800-920-1580. That's the number to dial.
No, 41% of you say yes, though. 41% is still quite a bit. Chris, what happens from here? I mean, obviously, we got to get through this. We have to wipe some tears and hug a few people and
Dominique.
Make some people feel better.
Hames?
Are there ways?
What up? Hope I said that right. Hames?
Hames? I wish I still had Fahima on the line to tell us.
What up?
How she says she's prepared. She's good, and probably financially. But are there other ways in which you can see people can prepare for what?
How many people in here are familiar with the Voice of Reason radio show?
Get involved in our local cities doing what we need to do.
Put up whatever emoji you want to let us know. 2 minutes, 1 minute.
In all of the other little aspects of life, because doing stuff locally.
If you're familiar with what I do.
At the end of the day, we're not the president, thank God.
What's the over-under on people still crying about Kamala?
Amen and amen. Pretty Brown Mimi says, I'll continue to vacation, of course, but I'm not
Ooh.
leaving the United States permanently. This
There
is
they
my
come.
home.
I
think that's
see
how
it.
most of us feel.
I see the emojis.
But I ain't gonna front. There's some beautiful
I
places
see
out
it.
there. There's some beautiful places out there.
We
But I
got
do
4
feel like that.
people
I
to
mean, it's hard for me
respond.
to leave the state of California, let alone the country. So I definitely understand. Chris Gunther, thank you so much for joining us today. Where can
Uncle
everyone keep
Omar.
up with you online?
You can keep up with me at Chris Gunther on all social media.
What up,
YouTube
Uncle
channel, Chris
Omar?
Gunther Show, and my website, chrisgunther.com. Until next time, I'm going to quote my big sis. Remember, today and every day be a blessing. God bless.
Thank you very much, Chris Gunther. Rob Tyler online says he probably said
R.
yes. He says, Coach Biden, I
Dismooks.
feel great.
I
My
hope I'm
life
pronouncing these
resides
names
in
right.
Trump
What up?
or Biden or any man. I heard that, Mr. Rob Tyler. Well, that's the show for today. We didn't get to Halle Bailey. We'll save that another time. I think this conversation needed to happen. Most of you guys right now, 55% of you say you are not going anywhere. You will not leave the United States. I'm not mad at you.
Here we
Well,
go.
listen, you guys, it's been a great show. Perk up. My name is Robin Ayers. Remember, today and every single day forward, to be a blessing.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Potentially damaging testimony Tuesday in the Daniel Penny subway chokehold manslaughter trial. A witness who helped restrain Jordan Neely, a black man, told jurors he tried to get Penny to release his chokehold on the homeless man twice, but that Penny did not stop. A comedian will be teaching a class.
Michael Watkins. Thank you, brother. Love you, brother Zoe, and the family. Thank you, brother, for getting us started off on a good note. Thank you. Appreciate it. Kiki Long, what up, love? We appreciate you coming in.
Has enthralled conspiracy theorists for years and has more recently drawn attention from government officials. And the long-awaited fight between boxing
Had to. Thank you, brother.
YouTube star Jake Paul is set to go down on Friday. Netflix will stream the fight between the 58-year-old Tyson and 27-year-old Paul.
I'm worried about old Tyson.
Stadium in Arlington, Texas.
I know he has the power to knock this kid out. I know, but he shouldn't have to use it.
Please travel home safe. 35 minutes of a stop delay from Wilshire Boulevard remains back in West LA's 405 South.
What's up, good brother Zoe? Watching from Spain. What up? Junk Scorpion. What up? No, I hope he knocks the little dude out. Productivity, Zoe. Keep pushing, bro. I'm going to do my best.
Before Bridge Street, and a fuel tanker is stalled in the middle lane of Anaheim Hills 91 East after Ware Canyon Road in the Boulevard split.
Want to save up to 50% on new blinds and shades? Blindstar offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters at prices way less than big box retailers. And right now, save up to 50% off any order during Blindstar's July 4th sale. Hurry, sale ends July 8th.
Jack Brazen in the building. Roids.
I'm calling your show, cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, teacher. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes 2 to tango, and I need to hit his side of the story. So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light. See the light.
Hey guys, I'm Heidi Prieb. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time here. Today we're talking about the experience of finding closure within a relationship that has ended badly. So whether that means you had a romantic or friendship or family relationship end in the middle of a fight, whether it means somebody passed away at a point where you had unfinished business with them, most of us have experienced some aspect of feeling like we need closure that we don't have. So before we get too into things, we're going to talk about what I mean when I say the term closure. So in any relationship that involves true intimacy between two people, there is a cycle that the relationship tends to go through over and over again throughout the entire course of both people's lives. And this cycle goes from connection. So what is it to be in connection with someone? It means to have a shared set of contexts. So a shared understanding, a shared set of meanings about the way in which you are interpreting the world and your relationship with one another. And when we're in connection with someone in that way, we are offered the opportunity to see ourselves through their eyes in a way that gives us each a new perspective on ourselves. So to be in that state of connection is to be in a state where we are seeing the world to some degree in the same way and through the eyes of another, and also seeing ourselves in a new way through the eyes of another. Now, what inevitably happens with any close relationship is at some point there is a rupture. So a rupture is the place where that set of shared meanings and understandings that you have, in some capacity, large or small, breaks down. So where there was once alignment, there is no longer alignment in some small or large way. And what we want to have happen in most cases after a rupture exists is we want to go into repair. So we want to come back together with that person and find a way to make the relationship big enough to now include both perspectives that were initially at odds. And when that happens successfully, we go back into that state of connection. And I would call this reconnection, because you're coming back into that connection that you have with the other person with a more expanded, deeper, and more mature shared perspective, because you've now integrated these differing points of view. So what does it mean to not have closure in a relationship? To not have closure in a relationship means to arrive at the point of rupture and get stranded there. So to not have a means of moving the relationship from rupture to repair. And there is a step that I believe is extremely important in between.
Wow. Get to the point of rupture and then there's no repair, i.e. no closure. My goodness, what a revelation. Let me just say this. You're listening to the Voice of Reason live on KBLA Talk 1580. Zoe Williams is in the building live from Leimert Park. You already know what we do over here. We have very tough conversations around relationships. The type of conversations that most people would opt out of having. Tonight's topic is one of those topics given to us by one of our amazing listeners, Inzinga. Yes, Inzinga from Pensacola, Florida, dropped this one on us last night. Is closure an inside job? Now, Heidi Prieb, in that clip we played earlier, was making some very, very good points about perspective and trying to align those perspectives. And a relationship is when You're in alignment on shared meaning. And what I find is, like, I'm listening to Heidi, and she's dropping some bombs about what is necessary to get back in alignment. Oftentimes, we don't get closure because when there is rupture, there is the search for rightness. This is why that happened. Had you not done this, where there is rightness, there will be blame. Do you see? It's a difficult thing. Like, alignment is, okay, this is where I am ajar. This is where I'm misaligned. Let me get myself back in alignment. Many times, man, it's easier to fight the who is right war than it is to right oneself in this process. If you are looking for closure outside of yourself, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be exceedingly difficult to achieve that. It's not impossible. Nope, it's not impossible. There are some people out there that are not only accountable, but responsible for their actions and will show up like adults and say, this aspect of the conflict is on me, and I am here and open and willing and ready to commit to whatever it is that I need to do internally as well as interpersonally to fix this thing, right? You do have some of those people, but I'm going to say it's far and few in between. And I think real closure, because many times, how many times have you apologized for something? Sincerely, honestly, with your whole heart, you were remorseful, and they still hung it over your head. You were apologizing in a sincere way to try to get some kind of closure, right? So that you guys can repair whatever happened, the rupture that happened, and move forward. Many times it's exceedingly difficult to do that with an unhealed pair of ears. When the wound still has control of the listening apparatus, it's going to be very difficult for your apology, your sincere apology, to be taken seriously. So if you're looking for closure in that way, might be difficult to discover it. Sometimes you have to just be honest with yourself and say, I made the mistake, and I'm okay with learning from that mistake. And I'm okay with experiencing the pain or the consequences that come from making these types of mistakes. It's really that simple. Closure, to me, maybe you guys disagree. The number to dial is 1-800-920-1580. Closure is an inside job. That's our topic tonight. The myth of closure. Why chasing it could be your biggest mistake. Or what about closure? The illusion that keeps you bound to your ex. We could discuss how the need for closure can trap individuals in a cycle of obsession and prevent them from moving on. How many of you guys have suffered from that? The illusion, closure, the illusion that keeps you bound to your ex. My goodness. 1-800-920-1580. Why closure actually hinders healing. Embracing ambiguity instead. We did a show like that, The Uncertainty Principle, maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, right? Oh my God. Argue that the acceptance of uncertainty post-breakup allows for deeper healing that could, do you know people don't want to do this kind of, I know people don't want to do real relationship work. They want everything to just flow easy without effort. That's just not how your wounds are set up. The 4 Ds of closure. You have disbelief, disdain, disgust, and despair. Why they matter more than you think. We can analyze how these emotional responses to closure can offer insights into personal growth and emotional maturity. Is closure just an excuse for emotional manipulation? The Narcissist Playbook. We can investigate how the demand for closure can serve as a control tactic in toxic relationships, particularly involving narcissists. Yeesh. What about ghosting? Is ghosting the new closure? Why disappearing might be healthier than a final conversation. Yikes. We could challenge the conventional wisdom that closure requires a last conversation, proposing that maybe ghosting can sometimes protect your emotional well being. The real reason you can't accept closure, worthiness wounds, and the inner critic. We could examine the psychological barriers that prevent acceptance of closure, focusing on deep seated issues of self worth. Why clear boundaries could sabotage your closure. The paradox of emotional freedom. We could explore the idea that rigid boundaries may inhibit true emotional processing, complicating the journey towards closure. Ugh, this is ugly. Are y'all ready for tonight's topic? Is closure real, or is it a mythological beast like Bigfoot or a unicorn? We're going to talk about it tonight. When I come forward, I'm opening up the phone lines. Why is it so difficult to get closure? Is closure an inside job, much like happiness and self-love? We're going to find out when we come forward. Yeah. I need y'all to call in. Y'all want to talk? What up? Get to your phone lines. I want to talk to my people tonight. I think this is a good one.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related.
So does closure somehow feed the ego? That's why ghosting can be so... Call in. Inzinga, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Hello, everyone. How you doing? What up, nephew? Advanced Illusion AI Theory, aka Nazarene X. Inzinga, you know this your topic. You gotta call in.
Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
You know, a lot of people seek closure in relationships. And the closure was when they abused you or when they cheated on you or when they were dishonest. That's closure. That's all the closure you need, right? But sometimes closure is necessary, but the closure is closure with yourself. You need to close that part of you that allowed it. You need to close that part of you that keeps repeating those cycles. So you need closure with yourself, not from people. Because again, the closure.
I can't listen to hurt people give advice. I'm a hurt person giving advice. I hear what she's saying, but sometimes, man, you gotta sit that wound down. Wounds should not have a voice. I'm sorry, because wounds are trying to feed themselves, and this is why, we don't gain a deeper understanding. In one breath, she's 100% correct, right? You provide yourself with closure. But then in the next breath, she's saying, yes, you got to have that conversation. Then in the previous breath before that, no, you shouldn't have the conversation. Whatever happened, happened, and that's the closure you need. So she's back and forth with it. The reality of it is very simple. It's very simple, right? As the first clip we played. In relationships, there's going to be alignment and ruptures happening all the time. Why? Because we are human beings. Human beings are flawed. We're never going to be perfect. We're going to make mistakes. And when we make mistakes and get misaligned with our partner, what needs to happen is a healing of that misalignment. In other words, a realignment. Now, some misalignments are going to be bigger than others. Some misalignments are going to hurt more than others. But relationships, the natural flow of it is, I'm never going to be everything you need from me all at once, all the time. You might get some of this, you might get some of that. And I know it sounds, it's an oversimplification, but that's what it is. The notion of closure within intimate relationships invites a profound exploration of psychological, spiritual, and cultural dimensions. Closure can represent an understanding and acceptance that a relationship or that a particular point of contention has ended, as articulated by Professor Beth Rubarski. However, many individuals encounter challenges in achieving this state, often grappling with disbelief, disdain, disgust, and despair, right? These emotional responses suggest that closure may not exist as a straightforward process. Rather, it may possess a deeply subjective nature, akin to a mythical beast. That's what it is. The interdisciplinary exploration of what we're going to do here tonight on closure, it requires us to delve into various domains, including psychology, spirituality, and metaphysics. From a psychological perspective, attachment theory provides a framework for understanding how individuals relate to one another and how past experiences shape their expectations of closure. If you're dealing with a dismissive, avoidant, conflict is a no-no. You got to remember they were born in an environment that shut down all conflict. We're not talking about it. We're avoiding everything. We're not having deep conversations. We're not even accepting or allowing any emotional outbursts. We're gonna pat you on the back for the good emotions, and we're gonna scold you for the bad emotions. So this kind of toxic independence developed. That's your dismissive avoidant. So the whole closure thing, let's sit down and really hash it out and let's get into our, no, we're not doing feelings. Same with the fearful avoidant. But again, the fearful avoidant, which is also known as disorganized, they could swing both ways. They could swing anxious, preoccupied, which is, yes, let's have the conversation. But then when you get into the conversation and you start peeling the skin off the wound, nah, I don't want the conversation. Well, wait a minute, you set this up. So attachment theory will give you a different look at how closure may not be as straightforward as we would like it to be. Listen, the lady in the video that we just played, what did she say? When they cheated, when they did this, when they lied, that's when you got your closure. Sounds like an avoidant type. Soon as I'm made to feel unsafe, soon as I'm made to feel unseen, unheard, I go avoidant. We don't need to talk again. I'm starting to feel like an avoidant created the concept of ghosting. 1-800-920-1580. Get to your phone lines right now. Listen, look at this. Those with anxious attachment styles might find themselves clinging to the hope of reconciliation, while avoidant individuals may struggle to confront emotions associated with the end of a relationship. Consequently, how might individuals redefine closure, right? Moving beyond conventional narratives to find a personal meaning in these endings. Most people don't know how to end nothing. You know why people end things? Because it hurt too much now. You done got to a level of pain that you can't tolerate. You know that pain chart in the hospital or in the dentist's office, and they had those faces? Hey, can you handle this much? What level of pain are you in? Sometimes you got to reach a level of pain or a level of overwhelm, right? Listen, I know people don't want to hear it. I know people don't. Most people's capacity to be empathetic towards another work in progress, i.e. a human being, is really low. Most people are not very patient. That isn't to say there aren't patient people out there. I'm saying the majority of people you meet can only tolerate your humanity for so long. Somebody gonna do something about it. They're gonna cheat. They're gonna shut down. They're gonna be emotionally unavailable. They're gonna stop talking. They're gonna stonewall, because most people don't have the capacity to deal with another person's flaws. Why? Because most people don't have the capacity to deal with their own repression, suppression of feelings, of memories, of unresolved issues, things that they have in their spirit that don't have closure. How am I going to give you closure when I still haven't forgiven my father or my mother? right? That's an open book in my spirit right now. And you want a final conversation? Oh, when I come forward, the voice of reason is going to continue this bonfire. If you want to join the conversation, all you got to do is get on the line. The number to dial, 1-800-920-1580. Yeah. Are we doing it right, Inzinga? Everybody hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button. We got some like fruit flies in here. I'm trying to catch them every time. What up, y'all? What up? Everybody good? Good. Hey, I saw some super chats. I want to say thank you to the people that super chatted. Inzinga? Thank you, Inzing. Zing zing. Zinga. Who else? Who else? Oh, it's just two. Michael Watkins. Listen, if you want to support the channel, it's very easy. All you have to do is go down to the bottom of the chat. There's a $ symbol. Hit that $. Send whatever you can, or you can go directly to my Cash App, which is $ZoWhatNatter. And don't be afraid. Like it up. Like up the video. Share the video. Subscribe to the channel. The whole 9 yards. Did I get him? Motherfucker. Oh, I got him. Ha Caught him slipping in front of the camera. Had to take him out. Had to get him. Spray a little Lysol on a piece of paper and wipe your hands. Ganging on the flies. So let me ask before I start talking. Has anybody caught up on the Penguin show? No, I didn't spoil it. I promise you. Man, if y'all don't go watch that shit, I'm rewatching it. It was so damn good. And especially if you like this show, the spiritual stuff we talk about, yo, you're gonna love it. I did not tell the whole show. They said I told the whole damn show. How many of you guys have downloaded the KBLA app? Who in here listens to the show on the app? Do you guys just listen through here, or do you listen through the KBLA YouTube, or do you listen through the app? That's fucked up. Y'all should watch it, I promise you. YouTube, got it. Do you guys listen on the podcast? Because I've gotten into the habit of listening on Apple Podcasts. I don't even listen to my shows back, but when I do, I listen to it on the Apple Podcasts. I'm like, it's good. The way they edit it is what I'm talking about. Podcasts go by quick, yeah. Sounds super clear. Yeah. Now on YouTube, I mean, I'm broadcasting through my phone. And I got a pair of these wrapped around the phone. But you should try that Apple Podcast or Google Play. Sounds really good. Crystal. Now, before, they used to let a little of the music play on the podcast. Now they kind of just cut out all of the commercials and all of the music. But it flows like... And you could fast forward. I didn't know that. 11:20.
When your past trauma is doing the thinking for you, it loves to point fingers at all the bad things that happened to you. It can't stand looking at the ways that maybe your own actions and thinking right now may be sabotaging your healing.
No. Pause that. See, listen. You've got to listen with an open heart when she said, and I know I'll be in here mumbling and y'all be like, Zoe don't know what he talking about. But this lady just said exactly what I've been saying. Listen again. I want you to slow down your life. If you drive and pull over. If you watching TV and listening at the same time, turn the volume on the TV down. Turn the TV off. Just hear what this lady is about to say. This is crappy childhood fairy. Listen.
Thinking right now may be sabotaging your healing. Because that's the biggest obstacle to healing complex PTSD. It's not your parents, though they probably had a lot to do with why you have CPTSD. And it's not your partner, it's not your therapist or lack of a therapist, even though a therapist may also have influence over your healing. The biggest obstacle, in my experience, is self-sabotage, because when you're undermining yourself, It doesn't matter what else is going on or what help you're getting. Your healing gets blocked. And it's really normal. Self-sabotage isn't just this bad thing we do. It's part of having CPTSD. It's part of it.
I want to hear her one more time from the top, because it was just, she's talking from the perspective of your wound. Just hear this one more time. I'm sorry.
When your past trauma is doing the thinking for you, it loves to point fingers at all the bad things that happened to you. It can't stand looking at the ways that maybe your own actions and thinking right now may be sabotaging your healing. Because that's the biggest obstacle to healing complex PTSD. It's not your parents, though they probably had a lot to do with why you have CPTSD. And it's not your partner, it's not your therapist or lack of a therapist, even though a therapist may also have influence over your healing. The biggest obstacle, in my experience, is self-sabotage, because when you're undermining yourself, it doesn't matter what else is going on or what help you're getting, your healing gets blocked. And it's really normal. Self-sabotage isn't just this bad thing we do. It's part of having CPTSD. It's part of it.
Man, oh man, Shevitz. Listen, I'm going to say it again. If you're looking at the world through the lens of unhealed wounds, first off, those wounds are like psycho-spiritual magnets. They're drawing in relationships for management of the wound. The wound is not managed when it is your primary site. What do you mean? Listen, if you're looking at the world through the lens of your wounds, if you're hearing the world through the filter of your wounds, through the ears of your wound, I'm telling you, you're going to continue to attract relational opportunities that are designed for whatever those triggers are to come to your consciousness so that they are to be reconciled. How do you reconcile them? Again, you can't get internal closure until there's an acceptance, right? Wow, this is what that situation caused me to become. But I don't have to be this. In my book, The Shrouded Lighthouse, chapter 14, we talk about the pen of self-authorship. If you do any serious reading on attachment styles and attachment theory by John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth and many, many other clinicians have built on their foundation. If you do any reading, you're going to know that any insecure or maladaptive attachment style can be rewritten. Do you know what I see people doing? Oh, I'm anxious, preoccupied. So now they'll write a whole list of expectations for how to deal with an insecure attachment style. Or I'm dismissive, avoidant. They'll write a whole bunch of rules and have expectations in their head for how you deal. It's like, no, I want to deal with you, not your coping mechanism. Do you see? And fearful avoidant is pulling from both. Do you see? Spiritual teachings for Buddhism, Hinduism, and other traditions will emphasize the importance of inner peace and self-acceptance. No self-closure without self-acceptance, right? No self-love without self-acceptance. No self-approval without self-acceptance. See, when you're lacking all of these things, they become expectations for the external partner. So you hear Zoe say, hey, I'm not supposed to be your spiritual vitamin supplement like this. I'm not supposed to come in and give you what you refuse to give yourself. All you've given yourself are these expectations for the partner to behave right in the presence of your unhealed self. See, your unhealed self is not your best self. Your unhealed self is you coping and surviving in life. Now, what's beautiful about an unhealed self, oh, it could be a hell of a motivator. Lord have mercy, them wounds can push you to medals, degrees. Them wounds can push you up the corporate ladder. Oh, yes, yes. A wound is definitely fuel for accomplishment. But external accomplishment is nothing in comparison to internal victory. I know you don't want to hear it put that way, right? Even modern day clinicians, they're pulling in these Eastern concepts, Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, Shinto, all of this, and they're talking about mindfulness. Mindfulness encourages individuals to cultivate an inner sense of closure. Now closure is starting to sound like acceptance. It is what it is. I can only take responsibility and accountability for how I showed up. If I showed up less than my optimum self, I apologize to me. I love on me for being unaware of what I could have brought to the table. Maybe I had to stumble and become humble to discover that I got more in me. Maybe that's okay. Nah, we want to beat ourselves up, and more importantly, we definitely gonna beat our partners up. When I come forward, Lord have mercy, when I come forward, we gonna bring in the author of said topic tonight, Inzinga from Pensacola, Florida. Trust me, we got a lot to talk about. MC Zo! Did I rhyme? Now listen, we 46 minutes in. We just got Inzinga on the line. Where's everybody else at? I told you, Attila, didn't I? Didn't I tell you this earlier today? Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you this earlier today, Attila? In the conversation we had? Didn't I tell you? I told you this earlier, right? Yep. He be all poised and then going off. Tavares! Hey, is Tavares here? Man, I saw Ray Grady the other day, man. We talked about that damn Tavares episode. That shit was funny as hell. That was one of the funniest moments. But I told you, right? No, that shit was funny. So, I told you guys I was at the football game a couple weekends ago with my daughter, right? I told you guys that, right? Assistant head coach, Zoe Williams. Yeah, man, I was at the football game. We was chilling. And I saw the homie. It was good seeing him. Y'all remember Timmy Tight Top? He popped up. He played for one of the high schools, so it was dope. Prima with that hoodie on, she was like, TTT showed up. No. I think he's like rebranding or doing something. That's what he told me. 20 seconds. Hey, y'all like my playlist?
Man, listen, don't just thank God for open doors, but thank God for the closed doors. There are some things, listen, that God stopped you from doing. There are some doors that God purposely closed on you so that it would not destroy you, man. I know you've prayed about it and you felt like God told you this was your job, that was your relationship, this was your opportunity. But then all of a sudden from nowhere, things just shut down. Listen, that could be God's divine way of protecting you from dangerous people, from dangerous places, and from opportunities that can destroy you. So listen, don't just shout for open doors, but thank God for the closed doors.
My. Yes, yes, yes. Thank God for the closed doors. Hold on, the bundle, go, bo, shaka, ba, bo, shaka. Ooh, Lord, my. See, a blockage sometimes is not holding you back. It's protecting you from what's ahead of you. See, listen, Dr. Mark Goulston, you guys remember him, good friend of mine. You know, he passed at the end of 2023, December. But one of his most powerful quotes to me was, "You have to be okay with the apology you never got." He said, that's real strength. Because guess what? The only one that can give you the closure you're looking for. Because have you ever been in a situation where you felt like, oh my God, I'm in an argument with somebody I love, and it seems as if I speak a dead language and they speak a dead language. We don't understand each other, and we're just going to keep going around in this toxic circle of cutting each other down, minimizing each other, denigrating, disrespecting. At the end of the day, you have to be in a position to where you tell yourself, is this good for my spiritual health? Is this good for my mental health? Is this good for my emotional health? And ultimately, is this good for my physical health? Right? You have to make a decision. People who are not ready to be healed, they make the toughest relationships. Now, there's no way you can listen to what I'm about to say. Somebody say you can't argue with crazy. As a matter of fact, that's one of Dr. Mark Goulston's books, Talking to Crazy by Dr. Mark Goulston, MD. Go get it. It's an amazing book. But again, here's the thing. You can't be fully healed and be with a fully hurt person. You guys are just vibrationally in two different spaces. Do you understand? You're just vibrationally in two different spaces, two different dimensions. But what happens is healing is on a spectrum. And so is elevation, self-realization, self-actualization. That's on a spectrum. So what's happening is we're attracting people into our space that's relatively what we are. And if there's something within us that hasn't been reconciled, an opportunity for that reconciliation will manifest itself in a mirror reflection of you. Now, remember something about the mirror. When you're in the bathroom looking in the mirror, you're seeing the inverse of your image. In other words, your right side is your left side is your right side. You're seeing the reverse of it. So when people hear you say, oh, relationships are a mirror, they think they're getting the same issue that they have. No, you're getting the same vibration. Do you see? Whatever vibration that unhealed wound is on will attract a like vibration, a like frequency, but it might not be the same issue. Do you see? This is why anxious preoccupieds are attracted to the avoidant type. In other words, the chaser is attracted to the runner. And the one who does chasing and running, the disorganized, is attracted to both. Come on, man, let it marinate for a second. Y'all hear me in here. Don't get afraid now. Let me bring her in here. Inzinga. Come on in, Inzinga, from Pensacola, Florida. Thank you so much for this amazing topic. I appreciate it. What are your thoughts? Why did you create it? What was on your mind? Let's go.
Well, I've always just kind of felt closure wasn't real, and it's just all about accepting what is. And as Jack Brazen always does in the chat, he asked, which closure is more important based on the truth, the closure you give or the one you seek? And I think it's the one you seek because you already kind of know. Sometimes even at the onset of a relationship, just like you said, a non-healed person can't be with a healed person, and you kind of know that, but it's a challenge. You challenge yourself to see if it can work, and so you kind of already know this is not really going to work because of, or it's not working, or it's falling apart. You pretty much know for a while before you even seek the closure that things aren't working, and so you can. I think the truth you seek is the one you already know, but sometimes we're afraid to admit it because we don't want to fail.
Let me tell you,
because it is embarrassing.
But you on to something so big right now. This is why manipulation is never too far from those who are always seeking closure. Because really, I know people don't want to hear it put that way, because closure is really an extension of control, and people really just want what they want. So if they can hold on to closure as a means of access, ooh, you know, come on, go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Well, I think the narcissist sometimes likes to see you squirm. You know, why are you doing this to me?
Right.
You know, because I think sometimes seeking closure can almost turn you into a victim if you're not careful. And that's why I think, you know, it's the only remedy for that is just to accept things for what they are. Because as soon as you know, it's the forest from the trees. You know, while you're in it, you can't see it. But once you're rescued in a helicopter and you're in the sky, you can see, oh, wow, look what I was in.
Right.
And so once you can accept things, then that's when the clarity. Because my dad always, you know, when I was younger, I was my best friend, and you know, I was like, I don't want to be your friend anymore. And you know, he was just kind of counseling me on some stuff, and he was just like, well, you really can't judge things until you're out of it.
But you on to something big here. I don't know if you noticed. You said acceptance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know acceptance is as hard as closure?
Harder.
And I'll tell you why. Because where there is acceptance, there is the implication of depth. When you say it is what it is, the is of it is all of it. That's all of it. It is. This is what it is. That is the cumulative movement. So when you say, I have accepted this, that implies depth. Now, the flip of that is ghosting, a society that lacks empathy. Why? Because we don't go deep. We keep it superficial so we can always have an out. You can't ghost something that's meaningful, something that has depth. You can damn sure ghost something that is lightweight. This wasn't nothing to me anyway. Stay with me, Inzinga. When we come forward, the voice of reason gonna keep this fire lit. Spending so much time. Come on, Inzinga, pull it out. Let's go. Great call, Inzinga. You cooking. Inzinga on fire right now. Listen, if you guys enjoy the topic, if you're enjoying the information, Can't ghost something that's meaningful. Woo! Wow. Try to ghost your mama. That shit gonna be sitting in your soul. You're gonna be like, might not be talking, but you're gonna be like this. You're gonna have the bubble spirit, not the bubble guts, but your spirit gonna. Hey. That's because you don't have a soul, Third Eye. You're our resident vampire, dog. Nosferatu. They say, I ghost family all the time. Don't mean shit to me. What? What the fuck? He said, these are facts. Exactly. This topic is thought-provoking. Absolutely. Thank you. The black Lestat. That's assuming he black. We don't know if he black. He could be Louis. Third is turquoise. Suge Mac. Thank you.
Your relationship is in trouble, I'm gonna do the call. Has your soulmate become your cellmate? Does black love still exist? What are your bedroom?
I was gonna ask for that other drop.
And fetishes? Financial infidelity. Are you worth the wait? Trust me.
We'll think about it tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow.
It's a very heated topic. Oh, is that right? Mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
I just have so many questions I want to ask you.
I would like to kiss you. There's something wrong up there. Damn. He told me he had a vasectomy. I'm pregnant. Betrayal has been committed. I hit you with a bad touch routine. How does he maintain his capacity?
He likes it when it pinches my nip.
Why can't you open up, brother?
I'm a karate man. Karate man moves on the inside. They don't show their weaknesses. Yeah.
How do you make women so well?
So William. Reason and accountability. The voice of reason.
Why did you give her everything that I wanted? Because it's what you wanted. If you knew that I wanted it, why didn't you just give it to me when we were together? Because if I gave you everything that you wanted, you wouldn't need me anymore. Why you treated her so much better than you treated me? Because I knew that's how you wanted to be treated. So you're using everything that I wanted to love bomb the next person? That's one way of putting it, but I learned how to treat other people better by treating you badly. If you learned all that, why can you apply it to our relationship? Because you're a better person than I am. People like you. You're genuine. I can't be any of that. So you left me because I was better than you? Yes, that's one reason. And then I know you were going to eventually outgrow me. Well, did you ever love me? What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another episode of A Narcissist Explains. I am self-aware narcissist Lee Hammock, and I use my platform to raise awareness for narcissistic personality disorder, get more people into therapy, and also in the process of doing all of that, validate the victims and survivors of said disorder. This series is where I just take my TikToks and my YouTube shorts that y'all love so much. You love them, you love them, you love them. And I just make them longer. The one you just watched was a skit I did about real closure from a narcissist. Because so many people, I think that's one of the main things. That's one of the main things that I think when I'm talking to people over Zoom, well, when I do my one-on-ones and things like that, is that they are looking for closure from narcissistic people or from their toxic relationships or just from their relationships in general. People want to know that they matter. People want to know what a relationship went wrong and things like that. But that's the kind of the catch-22 with a narcissist. Because closure from a narcissist, first of all, let me reel it back in real quick. Closure is something that you have to give yourself. You have to close out the relationship in your own mind. No matter how
how the relationship ended, whether you got rid of them or they discarded you, no matter how the relationship ended, cheating, whatever, closure is something that you have to give to yourself. It just is. You know what I mean? It really is. Closure is something that you have to give to yourself. And once they, like I said, once they, it's my take, sorry. And then once the narcissist knows you need closure, once they know that you are requesting closure from them, they will hold it over your head and not give it to you. Hey, can we meet up? I think we need some closure. You've moved on, Dave moved on, you need closure. For what though? Because when you are asking a narcissist for closure, you're literally giving them another opportunity to tell you how you weren't good enough for them, to tell you how you were not enough, to tell you why everything that you did, everything that you tried to do for them, why everything that you sacrificed for them, why it wasn't enough, and they never ask you to do that. Because a lot of times you get into that situation where they'll say that too. They'll open their mouth and say it like, "Hey, I didn't ask you to do that." You're like, "I gave you everything. I did so. I spent $3,000 on your birthday. I bought you some shoes. I bought you a purse. I bought you all this and that." And they're like, "Well, I didn't ask you to do that." But you know, if you didn't do those things, the narcissist will hold that against you. "Oh, you didn't do anything for me. You never loved me." And people were like, and this is the main thing right here. It's in the past. I'm gonna do another skit about that here in a few minutes. I just inspire myself. Isn't it amazing that you can inspire yourself sometimes? Like, it's in the past. It's one of the main things I hear from people when they deal with narcissists. Like, because anything that you do for a narcissist that is not right now within this second, within this spectrum of 1 minute, you have a minute. I think the narcissist, like, from the difference between the past and the present is a minute. So anything that you have not done.
Man, that is a narcissist talking. Literally. Clinically diagnosed Lee Hammond. He is a clinically diagnosed narcissist, and he's telling you how they get down. But I know not everyone is a clinically diagnosed narcissist, right? But a lot of people have narcissistic tendencies. And not only that, a lot of people, and let's just be honest, let's just be transparent. I'm this person. I've been this person at different stages of my life. As I get older, I get a little bit more wise, right? Incrementally, right? I get a little bit better, okay? The person I am today is not the person I was 7 years ago, 8 years ago. I'm a different kind of person, but it's taken a lot of work, okay? But all the work that I've done puts me probably right where you are. So when I say this, I'm saying this about everybody, including myself. We live in a spiritually immature society, an emotionally immature society, a psychologically immature society. And it all plays out in our relationships. Again, if you want closure, it's easy to say, hey, give it to yourself. But if you think closure is a narrative, do you know how many people lie to themselves? How are you going to get closure if everything you tell yourself is a lie? If you can't be honest about who you really are in that moment, what you are, how are you going to get closure? Nah, I don't want closure with me. I want closure with you. You've aggrandized the reflection. What is the reflection reflecting? You hear people say life be lifing? Well, the reflection be reflecting. What is it reflecting? It's reflecting your unfinished internal work. That is the spiritual nature of relationships. You can have all the money in the world. Cam Newton, Nick Cannon. You can have all the babies in the world. You can have everything you want, right? And I'm not just trying to single those brothers out. I'm just saying, I'm using their status here. You could be the wealthiest guys in the world. Hell, I knew Quincy Jones left $80 million to each one of his 7 kids. I'm saying no matter what you accumulate in life, The spiritual purpose of relationships don't change. I had conversation with Q about his relationships, and he was like, "Man, I'm married to the music. I'm married to the music, man. I got to hear the melody, you know. And I just can't come running, you know. And if I'm in the studio, man, we was in the studio, you know, for months, man. Me and Mike and sleeping on the floor, waking up, mixing records, you know. Hey, man, I got to stay with the melody. When the melody calls, man, I got to get on it." He was like, God gives you goosebumps when you know you're onto something. Again, when you're dealing with people like that, right? It took him to slow down. Took him to slow down. Once he slowed down, he was able to go, all right, here we go. The family. Let me catch up. Let me get back on what I should have been on earlier. You got to understand, when Quincy does Thriller, Quincy is 50 already. He's 50. That's why Epic Records was like, he's too old. He's a jazz guy. He's 50, but he's still chasing the music, chasing his purpose. He wasn't always present. He wasn't always there. He was always present for the music, though. And I'm just giving you an example by using Quincy. Man, you can have the world. The world can be your oyster. Everything outside of you could be lavish and beautiful. And you could have the latest Audi, the latest Bugatti, the latest whatever. But if you don't have internal victories, do you understand? If you don't have internal victories, yeah. Why did you leave? Didn't I give you everything you need? You think giving me what I said I wanted was the anchor to hold me to you? Ugh. All right. Inzinga, Pensacola, Florida. Get back in here. Let's get your final thought on this thing.
When it comes to closure or being ghosted or not having a resolution, I think for me, I learned to do mental funerals in my head.
You learned to do what?
Mental funeral. You have to do a mental funeral for people.
A mental funeral. Talk to me.
It includes the eulogy. It includes choir singing. You know, the pastor doing his thing and even a burial sometimes, because, you know, sometimes you may think you need closure, but for me, the mental funeral is part of my acceptance piece that this is no longer going forward, you know, and it's over, because for me, you know, and I'm just going to feel like that, I don't think closure is a real thing. I think once something ends, whether it's acknowledged or not, you know, you just have to accept the fact.
Right. Wait.
That's
Stay with me, because you're inspiring me here. Just stay with me. Play with me. Play with me. Stay and play. Let's play. The mental funeral is such a powerful image in my mind. You said you were going to do a eulogy. You're going to do all of that, right? To close out this situation with a person. Right? Now my question becomes, and we can apply this, this is general. If you go into a relationship with an insecure attachment style and you come out of it with the same insecure attachment style, who should you have the mental funeral for? The person who exited or the attachment style? Because isn't that what we're trying to do in relationship, is get rid of the insecure attachment?
Have you ever been to two funerals in one day?
Talk to me. Let's go.
Because when you say the person, you know, you can look at it from a third person point of view. So you may need to have a funeral for who you were while you were in that relationship. Because sometimes...
Come on, Inzinga.
Well, no, because sometimes this relationship is a mirror. Like, I feel like the bidirectionality and the sometimes it can make people lack accountability. If every time I say, well, so you did this, and then you come back and say, well, you did this, then you're not looking at the reflection, because sometimes if somebody's telling you, this is what you do, to me, sometimes there lies a reflection, and then sometimes you just have to be quiet.
Right.
And just hear what they have to say. It's just like, you know, when you have a whole bunch of siblings and your older brother's getting close, it's just not your turn, baby.
Right.
And sometimes it's just not your turn. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you need to have a feeling for who you were in that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then you need to take time. You have to take time to mourn, to have a bereavement process
Mm-hmm.
before you jump into something else.
I like it.
I always look at people when they, you know, jump from one relationship to another. It's like you didn't believe, you didn't reflect, you didn't, you know. But I guess that would be a little.
But no, that ain't judgy. You know what it is. They do it because being with themselves is horrible to them.
That makes me sad.
Listen, okay, I'm gonna spend time with myself and process what happened. Processing hurts.
Yeah.
Processing reveals you to you. I don't want to do that. Let me go on to the next one.
Well, I'm my own best friend, so that's why sometimes it's like, you know, I don't think I love myself most. I just love myself first.
Come on.
I love myself first. And you know, and that was it took me years. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I always know. No, it ain't always been like that. It took a while. Things have to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You have to hurt in order to heal. And speaking, I wanted to ask you, you had, and then I'm going to end it, but you had said something about the wounds. But how does somebody with wounds can also recognize somebody, like, doesn't that make them like a wounded healer? How does that all work? Because you were saying, you know, when you have the wounds and you're not taking care of your wounds and you're hurting others, but sometimes I think people with wounds can recognize them in others and help others.
Well, of course.
That's not how it works.
Yeah, in a dark sense, that's what Patrick Carnes talked about in his theory called trauma bonding. The wounds in me recognize the wounds in you. But I would push back. Nobody ever heals somebody else. Healing is only reserved for you. Just like you can't do somebody else's self-work, right? You can only do your self-work. So when you say a wounded healer, what that really is somebody who is wounded that inspires someone else to heal. They're not, do you see? I can instigate your healing, right?
Okay.
I can help initiate, I can help you to, you know, you heard the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. See, that's how you know. Listen, look at what's happening to spiritual dialogue right now. It's being genderized. Come on, let's do this mindfulness circle for the sisters. Mindfulness is for humanity. They're taking the spiritual points, talking points, and they're genderizing them. Right? You understand what I'm saying? When we're dealing with relationships, do you understand? Relationships are bidirectional and they cover all the genders. And men can heal like women can heal. But men have to have the testicular fortitude to want to look at their wounds and embrace their wounds without judgment and condemnation. Stay with me. When we come forward, we're going to wrap up our girl, Inzinga. Charles Coleman, what up? Inzinga, you cook. All love. Come on, we got $31, man. Thank you, Carlton. That's $31 on the super chat. I appreciate it. Listen, if you want to send it directly to my Cash App, you guys could do that as well. My Cash App is $Zoe what Netter. Came in late from work. I understand. That's my Cash App. And let me say, thank you, Nazarene X nephew. You were the only person to send me a Cash App last night. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I went in there and saw, I said, oh man, Nazarene X was my sole Cash App from last night's show, man. Thank you, brother.
So it's a bit of a riddle. What's the difference between closure and justice in a narcissistic relationship? What are your thoughts on this? Kind of a trick question, as they all are. Well, I can tell you is you're not likely to get either one in a narcissistic relationship. That much is similar between closure and justice. Now, in narcissistic relationships, people desperately want closure. I often think that justice gets subsumed under closure, but they're actually not the same thing. I do believe that justice is a higher standard. Closure is something that can happen even if there's not whatever we consider to be justice. So how do we get closure? Accountability. The other person who's done something wrong in a relationship or something that hurts us, taking responsibility. Understanding a person's motivations, getting a meaningful apology. Closure doesn't necessarily allay a broken heart or make you okay with what happened, but there is a wholeness we sometimes can feel, at least closer to wholeness with closure, a sort of closing the circle, as it were. and it can help people let go and move forward into healing. So you may wonder, and I've talked about this before, but to revisit it, why is closure so rare in narcissistic relationships? Because as a rule, people who are narcissistic are not accountable. They don't take responsibility, they tend to shift blame, and they don't give sincere apologies. The shame and entitlement that are part of narcissism and the subsequent defensiveness block narcissistic people from ever meaningfully copping to bad behavior, so they don't. That leaves the other person in the relationship walking around in a bit of a haze, alternating between blaming themselves, being angry, being confused, but never quite understanding what happened. Like I said, we may not always like the answers or the information we hear that help us with closure, but at least we hear something that makes sense to us, at least.
And here's the cold part. Dr. Romani is cooking, right? But she's just talking about being in a relationship with narcissists. What about the dysfunctional people who have a hard time apologizing? Who have a hard time acknowledging what they did? See, a lot of times people can listen to Dr. Romani and go, oh, she's just talking about them crazy people, the narcissistic folks. She's not talking about, she's talking about you too. She's talking about you too. So many people have a difficult time confronting the first hurt, the book of Genesis of pain in their spirit. When did that happen to you? And when it happened, it froze you in time. And you grew up chronologically, but you carried that frozen wound into every relationship. And unbeknownst to you, it was the magnet that drew the person in so it could thaw out. Oh, no, but you've integrated it into your identity. You want to keep it frozen. You want to save it. It's a family heirloom. Oh, we got callers. Inzinga, please give us your final thoughts. We on fire tonight.
Just want to sometimes it doesn't have anything, it's less about you. And, sometimes you just have to accept what is, and it's easier said than done, it's easier said than done, but it's always for the best. If the universe is fine-tuned, God sees the end from the beginning, it was all ordained.
It was all meant to be. Come on, Inzinga. Let me just say I love you. I appreciate you for tonight's topic. Definite barn burner. You brought Pensacola, Florida in the building. Nothing but love for Inzinga. All right, then. Listen, when we come forward, I got the phone lines. We're going to Houston, Texas, and we're going to Miami, Florida. Let's get it. What y'all think of the playlist? Have y'all picked up? You picked up on what I was doing with the playlist? We're all dirty in one way or another, yep. The music makes me want to go grab my to-go plate from the cookout early. Hey, Pastor John, thank you, man. Thank you for hitting that the super chat. And listen, for all those who don't want to donate or do any donations on the Cash App or super chat on YouTube, you can just send it to my Cash App, $Zoe What Netter. Great playlist. Kiki Long in the building. Kiki, what do you think of tonight's topic? What are your thoughts, Kiki? Brother John, happy for you to join us, yeah? Would you like to play? Oh, God. Boy. Oh, shit. Wow. Sometimes go fast. That's exactly gross.
Join the Black Hollywood Education and Resource Center for a great day in Black Hollywood. Friday, November 15th, 7 p.m. at the Regal LA Live Theaters, downtown Los Angeles. This is the opening night celebration of the 30th annual S.E. Manley
Exactly.
American Short Film Showcase, honoring Deborah Pratt, Lyndon Barrios, Janine Sherman Barrios, Art Singer,
Jumper.
Nina Green Davis, and Dr. Gloria Zerdini. The weekend
Yeah, it's true.
on Saturday, November 16th.
Zoe's voice of reason. What's your take on Corey Openshine? Right. It was that bad when they met on your planet. Was it that bad? I have absolutely no comment on that. I have no comment on that. Number love though for both of them. I have no comment. This is my daughter's song right here. This is my daughter's record. Have you guys heard that record? Have you heard that record by Diana Ross? It's my house and I live here. My daughter loved that damn record. You gonna post your question again?
Tips to help improve your credit score in 2024. Establishing credit is an important key to achieving financial health, but building a credit history from scratch can feel challenging since you need credit to build credit. First, what does it mean to build credit? All consumers have a score between 300 and 850. You want your score to be as high as possible as lenders look at your credit score to make loan and credit decisions. A good credit score shows you have a track record of borrowing money responsibly. Remember, it's never too late to build or rebuild your credit. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase & Company.
Live in 1 minute, 60 seconds. Love y'all, man, for supporting. Oh, much love, Kiki Long. Much love, sweetheart. Uh, uh, uh. Uh, uh, uh. Uh, uh. Uh, uh, uh. All right, guys, let's get back into our universe. mm, mm. Uh, uh, uh. Uh, uh, uh. Uh, uh, uh. Uh.
Yeah, shorty. I see you. Go ahead and show us your holla.
Don't be mad. I'm not trying to offend. Your shape is captivating. Be patient. If I have to, I'ma just fall back. You don't need to press the fact that I'm open up your style. You're sexy when you walk. I ain't heard you talk, yeah, yeah. Is as fly as your skin tone that I already know what you sound like when you moan. I don't wanna be patient, don't wanna let you go. I don't want somebody else to screw you, but I'll be patient. Living is, as we said, a series or succession of conflicts, trouble, pain, sorrow, and the rest of it. This is not a gloomy picture. You can paint it more beautifully in colors, descriptively make more attractive, but this is a fact. So shouldn't we understand life first, the living, and then come to understand what is death? It's not the other way around. What will you give, not financially, what will you give to find out how to, in what manner one can live totally differently? Not pursue some other quacky nonsense. New painting, new poems, new dances, and all the rest of the immature, childish stuff. And the speaker is not intolerant. He just sees all this going on.
I know at this stage, Krishnamurti, it's in the 80s. He's old now. And did you hear what he said? We're riddled by misery, by guilt, by shame. We're riddled with this stuff psychologically. He said, what are you willing to give to live and think differently? That's what a frozen wound is. It's a moment in time. And regardless of your chronological age, you take that moment into every relationship couched in expectations that are supposed to move the relationship forward, but ultimately serve as a garrison for your unhealed wound. That is not a healthy relationship. Your partner is not supposed to be security for your unhealed wound. It's not. Again, we're talking about closure. If you can't close the first wounds that happened to you, how will you ever get closure in this non-ending cycle of rupture and repair in intimate relationship? It's a non-ending cycle. Why? Because we are whips in progress, works in progress, whips, right? Listen, you can't tell me that the avoidant attachment style isn't out here making hit records like Thriller. What are you talking about, Zoe? They created a whole means of breaking up without talking, ghosting. That's the Thriller album. That's wanna be starting something for relationships. They created a whole methodology of just, I'm not saying nothing. No closure, no, we're ghosted. Audi 5000. Oh, don't, anxious, preoccupied use it too. But they're using it for the wrong reason. I'll do it until they get the message that I matter. That doesn't work either. None of this is closure. That's what the great Krishnamurti is talking about. How are you gonna live differently? You can't live differently if you live in the consciousness of shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger. Do you see? There won't be any self-closure, let alone any intimate relationship closure. Let me get Hustle in here. He's been on the longest, 38 minutes. I'm sorry, Hustle. Get in here, man. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic, my friend?
What's up, brother?
Oh, man, I'm all right. How you, man?
Pretty well. So I came in to have some anxious confessions.
Here we go. All right, anxious confessions.
Yeah. So I used to withhold closure.
Wow.
And it's interesting, right? Because you think anxious, we're kind of known for wanting the closure, right?
Right.
But the way I had it was, I don't want you moving on until I move on.
Gosh.
So,
that's kind of harsh, Hustle. Wow. That's controlling. That's wreaking narcissism. That's a lot. You're like, you don't get to leave until oh God. I'm just yo, man, I love you for the transparency, but damn, okay. Tell us where the bodies are hidden. Let's go. Come on.
Listen now, here's the thing about it. It's partly because, avoidance.
Mm-hmm.
They move on before they move on. So
right.
They the monkey branch queens, dog. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, I don't want to give you that satisfaction.
Mm.
That's where a lot of people's coming from. But, we've grown since then.
I would hope so, brother.
And to be fair about it, the withholding closure comes from us not getting the closure when we were supposed to. We could have got the closure if we would have ended it when we were supposed to. That's what I had to be real about.
Right. That's big.
Mm-hmm.
When we were supposed to.
Right.
And whatever that anxious, preoccupied, longing and hoping that it would turn around, it caused us not to get off at our stop. We stayed on the train. We should have got off. Damn. Keep going.
Well, we see the monkey on it. We know the monkey's there before they even grab the branch. You see what I'm saying? We were supposed to hop off of that tree.
Yeah.
It's got to be real. That's why I think, But that's why I'm saying this is in hindsight now.
Right. You're not doing this no more. Like, no closure for you until I get closure.
No, I look forward to closure now.
Right. Yeah.
Because, you know what I'm saying? If I'm supposed to be out of something, then let me get up out of there.
Right. Yeah. Man, I'm proud of your growth, brother. This is powerful right here, man. I appreciate you, my friend.
Yeah, all day, man. We just sharing stories and growing off of each other. You feel me? Pause. That didn't sound right. But you get what I'm saying, bro. And you don't got the church.
Hey, man, damn, you brought Miami in, but all right, Dade County, thank you for the call. I got to go now. What in the feast of Sam Hain is going on, man? Did Halloween happen yet? It's over? Okay, cool. Fright night. All right, let's get our callers in here, man. When I come forward, you already know what it is, man. We gotta talk to Attila from Houston, Texas. Trust me, she gonna break this thing down for us. good, good call. What the fuck?
Enrollment and marketing scams. Remember, Medicare will neither call you nor solicit your business. Guard your card. Never give out your Medicare number to strangers. Unsolicited calls, door-to-door visits, and take your time. Don't feel pressured to make a quick decision. Report scams to our California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. Hey, LA.
No closure needed. Bro, did you glitch? And then here come Attila with the fucking jabs. Bro, did you glitch? What kind of... What the fuck? That's... Come on. Like the extra jab. Hey, bro. No, he was accountable, though. Yeah, I see.
Fam, some of y'all need to hear this. If you haven't filed your taxes, or if you are going through an audit and you're fighting the IRS, you need someone on your side, an ally. Allies Tax Relief has a large team of professionals that negotiates with the IRS on behalf of taxpayers just like you. Allies Tax Relief will protect
My homeboy ain't negotiating.
your bank account from being levied and your assets from being seized by the IRS. Allies Tax Relief has fought for thousands of Americans.
What are y'all thoughts, man? Talk to me. What are your thoughts on tonight's topic? No. Kevin's dream? No. Not here. This is a relationship show. You just came in talking. That shit gotta be a computer. It's actually a heavy topic. Here we go. So rocking the Book of Eli beard. Okay, motherfucker. It's on. Quincy Jones.
Like if you start to think of what are we afraid of? In fact, sometimes that's an exercise that's done just to write down, what are you afraid of? And sometimes you need several notebooks. And you can write down particular instances like afraid of a particular dog that day, or afraid of a particular distressing person who was begging on the street, or afraid of a confrontation that you had at work that brought up fear, or afraid of someone in your immediate family, or someone in your past. It goes deeper, though, than the outer circumstances. And if you look deeper, and then you realize it's, fear of not being good enough, fear of losing something, fear of not being loved, fear of, lots of, sometimes they're called core beliefs that we hold about ourselves, deeply held fears, which sometimes are not even verbalized, but deeply held fears.
Come on, Pima shoulder. She don't be playing. Pima's like, she's a lot like Krishnamurti, man. You can't have closure if there's fear. The reluctance to let go of the known, even if the known is toxic. How can there be closure? Do you see? That's cognitive dissonance. Oh, I can hold on to all my toxic knowns, but I'm going to need closure from you as we exit this thing. What? Or worse, I'm not going to give you closure. I'm going to hold the closure hostage. It's heavy stuff, man. Heavy stuff. We got a caller on the line. Atala from Houston, Texas. My niece, what up? Atala, what's the deal? What are your thoughts on tonight's topic?
All right, so I'm going to make this quick and short. So you're an INFJ like me, right?
You going to put my business out in the street? What we...
I just need a yay or a nay. That's it.
Yes, okay.
Right, so have you heard of the INFJ door slam?
Yes.
Right. So we be guilty of it too, right? We get a little bit too tired of folks.
And
boom. And not receiving, and then boom. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have a few questions that I want to ask. And you could just kind of think on this, and it got to be a response. Are you looking for closure from a closed door? That's number one.
Ooh.
Number two. Do you forfeit your closure when you self-sabotage?
Ooh, yes.
Number three, is a loser mindset contributing to your desire for closure?
Ooh, ouch.
And lastly, can closure really just be a setup for casting the first stone while you're sitting in a glass house?
Oh, my goodness. Yes, all of that is yes to all of it.
Right.
Great observation. So many, but I think this goes back to the clip you provided on Krishnamurti when he talks about the utter misery that we live in as people, right? So let me give you an example. Most of us have no emotional literacy. Like really, like we have very low emotional literacy, right? I would say most of us are emotionally illiterate, but we want a great relationship. Okay. And then there's cognitive dissonance and closure, right? So we're confused and broken internally, but externally, I'm going to need closure. Or I'm going to do what Hustle did. I'm going to withhold closure, right?
Fact.
So,
and my thing with that, not to cut you off, but to me, closure is relative. I feel there's always going to be a way that somebody's going to be like, you didn't do this enough, or didn't say this enough, didn't answer whatever questions I may have had, right? So if closure is relative, then it's also biased.
Ooh.
Not saying that you don't necessarily need it. I personally could care less. Couldn't care less. I always get those two mixed up. I don't know.
But you know why you could care less. Let's not.
Because I'm avoided.
There we go. Like, stop. Don't try to flaunt your superpower while calling somebody else. Like, I'm avoidant. So
Anyway, so like, I wasn't even gonna say nothing about that. You was gangbanging on us earlier anyway.
you guys it was a compliment. It was a compliment. I said y'all created the Thriller album of breakups. Like, ghosting is want to be starting something. It's Beat It. It's Billie Jean. Come on, people.
Okay, but let's keep it real though. Ghosting happens way before ghosting actually happened.
That's a shame.
And
don't.
I hate to say it, for anxious preoccupied, they be ghosting reality. So I don't want to hear nothing about ghosting. You ghosting reality, creating fantasies and all that. But then you get mad when the person doesn't want to play your little reindeer games and live in your reality. It don't work like that.
She in here repping her side, like fearful avoidant. Whoa.
No. I'm saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there are multiple ways to look at this. And I think the more self-sufficient you become and the more self-aware you become, the less you really need other people's validation, but also their closure. It really don't matter to you at a certain point, because I'm like looking at, okay, well, what did I learn from this? Not what can you give me so that I can feel good about myself again.
I love it. I love it. Atala, guess what you just did? Houston, Texas is in the building. You know how we do on The Voice of Reason. We start conversations, but it's really up to you to finish them. It really is. I think closure is impossible if you're tormented, with psychological wounds, deep-seated issues, unhealed childhood struggles. Like, all of that stuff gets played out in your intimate relationships. And a lot of times people are afraid of relating because I think at some point they know something else is going to happen, right? And I think the reason why they know something else is going to happen, not just because we're human beings and we're all flawed, but because I think on a deeper subconscious level, they know I haven't addressed what needs to be addressed internally. You understand? Like, if you have guilt in your spirit and trying to get in a relationship, that's going to be a struggle. Shame, apathy, grief, fear, all of that stuff is going to serve as a type of, it's going to be like radioactive to happiness in relationship. You have to reconcile these things. Listen, I started the conversation. It's up to you to finish it. I'm the VOR, the voice of reason here on KBLA Talk 1580. I'll be back tomorrow, which is my Friday, with another barn burner, another slapper. Zoe Williams, VOR. See you tomorrow. You already know. Hey, that playlist was crazy. That was a banger. John B. and Michael McDonald, that was a banger. That was a banger playlist right there, bro. See you tomorrow. Yes, sir. Atala showed out, huh? She want to gang bang, huh? You want to bang out, huh? You trying to bang on niggas, huh? You don't like anxious preoccupied, huh? Ah! You think we spoiled children, huh?